I am in a good mood to be recording this video because duo tournaments are back. Yes, I know Mix-Up Monday and performance evaluation happen, but are those really duo tournaments? I'm talking about the ones that happen every season. As usual, me and Preacher are the returning co-stars of this Chapter 4 Season 4 mobile journey. Since this is the first duo cash cup of the season, we don't have high expectations and honestly did not set goals at all for this tournament. But of course, we wanted to play well and make sure every game counted. And in game 1, Preacher's game immediately crashed. No, I'm not joking. See for yourself from his POV.
Hey, somebody look, in front, we can do it.
Oh, I just crashed.
Actually?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, an unlucky combination of a 2v1 and the team I was going against getting a freaking llama, I absolutely get destroyed. But it's all good as it only sets up our first successful fight from game 2. Wow, that duo genuinely got rocket rammed. Unfortunately, in our next fight, we take way too long to finish it up and Preacher ends up getting shot in the back by a third party. Utterly devastating. When I try to get Preacher's card, the positions are switched and I am the one getting straight rammed. It wasn't all for nothing though, and we got 38 points out of that game. I personally wouldn't say game 3 was memorable as I died to my internet being my internet. This puts Preacher in a 1v2 and just like that, it is already on to game 4. With those first 3 games, you would expect our tournament to be a disaster, just like the sticky grenade launcher in rank. But bear with me and Preacher, things get better. On a dead side rotate, we fought another team, but this time, things were successful. My absolute lack of muscle memory almost ended me there, but thankfully we pulled through and were able to get some more eliminations. Lost. We're back in it. We're finally in an egg game, baby. Let's freaking go. Ow, answering the legend Kobe Bryant. Can we finish the job? Wow, man, I just love getting rammed. Unfortunately, I go out like that. Unfortunately, Preacher suffers a similar fate. He goes out to a slurp juice bug. You can't tell me he didn't pop that. He could have clutched. But I am not complaining, and after that game, we are around 100 points. And unfortunately, game 5 I threw. I got completely awareness checked by this dude's teammate as I couldn't see him at all, and he hits a max body shot on me, and we end up both dying here. But as Booga probably said sometime in his life, it takes a minor setback for a major success, and that's exactly what happened in game 6. Yeah, being completely honest, may God strike me dead. That gun right there is the mobile weapon. Unfortunately, on what should have been a free dead side rotate, we run into some of the smartest minds of Fortnite, the next Albert Einstein and Elon Musk to be exact. Yeah. Who's gonna tell them that wasn't the play? Just like that, the clutch was up to Preacher, with the whole entire world wondering, what will he do next?
Duos are fighting.
Preacher rotate. Preacher rotate. The preacher rotate. Rotate. Preacher. The preacher he rotates.
Man. You're good. Play below that crater if you can. Just hold MK. Hold on that guy.
Hold down.
Don't force you. I think you just sit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Duo just got
Point.
Duo just got knocked 3 solos. You're in a really good spot. You can get up there. 35 builds, enough to play probably 2 front side zones. Rocket around town. Go. Nice. Run to left. Get the map. Just wait for that loop. Build. Nice. Go back if you can. Get the map. Get the metal on break.
I got it. No. I didn't grab it for some reason.
Play back for it now. Take zone if you need to.
Yeah,
like,
you know,
it's
it pulls.
Nice. No, it doesn't. You need to get the metal on break though. You can literally win off of that.
No, I can't.
Break that.
I'm chilling.
Amendment. Blood burst. Nice. You. 5 of us. Good match. Three. Nice. Good. Heal. They're fighting. The solo's fighting them. 1v2. 1v1. One is knocked down by zone.
No!
Play you. Just play slow. 1v1. Max full. Go overbuild. You got it on height. Probably doesn't have a lot of mass. Build up.
Oh no! I fell through. My bad. He was 100.
Who the flip apologizes after a solo clutch? Following Preacher's antics, we are put into a pretty uneventful Game 7 until we shoot the dreaded W key team. Fun fact, one half of that duo is a grand finalist. Why do we keep going against these crazy players? This brings us into a also uneventful, but way much more solid Game 8. Unfortunately, I call a proper but poorly executed rotate. If we went down a little lower here, we definitely would have survived longer and not been beamed out of air. Truly a tragic way to go out, straight to the MK team on height. But I'd be weird if I would call that a bad game, as we had a chance to hit 300 points. And that's when we got pushed off spawn, for the first time in the whole entire tournament. The $1 million question, do we think that is a new gen console player? Infuriating deaths aside, this set us up for our last game with still 236 points. Yup, it was game 10. And just like the Warriors in the 2016 NBA Finals, I nearly sold the bread. What was my aim there, bro? I'm on mobile! Luckily, that was just enough to knock one of the players, but could Preacher eliminate the other?
Nearby. Just go for it now. If you're gonna go, rock it. That's 1v1.
You got the kill?
Run back. Yeah, I got the kill. Run back. Wait, no, I didn't. I did not. Just run away. Run away. Go in the zone. Go in the zone. Please. I beg of you. Just run deep in the zone and then grab my reboot. You can still reboot me, bro. Not worth it.
He's still trying to res.
Yeah, just. Nice. Fine. You have siphon off that? Be careful, that guy's. Just run back in zone. You don't need to fight this guy.
He wants to fight me, bud.
Well, just play safe, play scared. Oh, he's all or nothing it. You need to look at. Nice! Go! So good.
Pro play!
Fortnite Mobile Pro?
Preacher is the GOAT for that, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't enthused. On top of that already amazing clutch, we got into a lucky game. We were already top 9 or 10, even though we didn't even do anything. This was the perfect game to storm tank. Furthermore, we had slurps to our name. We found a cache. Things were looking up. But our success is only in theory. Execution is what matters. Could we clutch this somewhat unstacked, yet still very intense endgame? This will be a story all the Android and iOS mobile players everywhere will tell their grandchildren. We freaking did it, baby. We tied our record points with that performance at 307 and ended up placing top 1,610. Pretty solid start to the season for mobile players, I'd say. And just like that, we've reached... I'm gonna be honest, I don't like getting rammed. Even using the ram feels weird. I mean, come on, we had slap meta, katana meta, hammer meta. So I decided I'm gonna take a stand against the ram and try to qualify for a solo victory cup finals without it. This means my rotations are going to matter so much more. I'm gonna have to be using those slap juices, making smart dead side rotates, and if I do something wrong, my game is over. Who knows? What if slap is still the meta to qual? Blah, blah, blah. I know. Let me cut the yapping and let's get into game one. Before endgame, I got into a few fights, and let's just say my new device, the Samsung Tab S9, has been helping out. Yeah, Persup, that's cool, but what are you gonna do without a Ronky Ram in endgame? Oh, my friend, that is where the strategy begins. I'll be dropping my thought process below these gameplays, and let's just say, playing without Rocky Rams is fun. Yeah, if I'm being completely honest, I could have played that way better. When I made that weird impulse decision, I should have just either went right or went left. Hesitating was just not the play. But after this endgame, I know that this challenge is going to be somewhat difficult, which I'm all here for. And that's when in game 2, I got storm fought by Tayson himself. Whoever Mo just better is, you should keep yourself very safe as we get into game 3. Gonna lie, literally nothing interesting happened after that. Then I got gifted the refresh of a lifetime. Now, it's time for the end game. This one showed the power of slab splashes, that's all I'll say. Should have got the loot in zone, but I will take a top 3. This challenge is a breeze. And that's when my internet started to collude with the enemies. I was on 100 ping, 80 ping, and non-stop packet loss for these next 2 games. And though it was on and off and stopped, my psych was messed up. And I ended up getting absolutely destroyed twice. By sheer luck, I was able to snag a off-spawn elim in game 5. And then I forgot about the concept of jump fatigue. After those deaths, I was shaken up. Thought I had thrown the challenge and was in sheer devastation. But in that moment, I remembered the wise words of the legendary leader, Winston Churchill. And just like that, I was motivated and I remembered the purpose. We were going to get this qual. In game 6, if I'm being completely honest, most of my time was spent sitting in a bush. So with the click of a button, bam, we are in endgame. There was an issue though. I needed to get to zone in a 5 tick and I only had 18 builds metal. Here's how that problem was solved. Let's just say God did. Yeah, just like that, I had 3 slurp juices and pretty much was in a spot to win the game. But I forgot to mention, I had no slap splashes this game. So there were going to be moments where I ran out of stamina and was vulnerable. Could I still clutch the last game for qual? Will this be the climax or the anticlimax? Let's see. Just like that, baby, let's freaking go! We are quad without rocket rams! Gotta give a shout out to the underrated power of slurps and slaps. Without them, I probably wouldn't have even gotten 40 points. Since I had already quad, I decided to play this game as safe as humanly possible so I could maximize my points. There were some endgame highlights, even though, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really do much in this. Yeah, I don't know what the intention behind that was either. With that being said, our final placement without using the rocket ram at all is 1,266. Hey, I'll take that all day. And that is all I got for this video. It's I, Sir Perceptorius III, and my duo, Preacher of the Queen's Brigade, back with another tournament. Now, if you're acquainted with Napoleon, after reading that title, you probably think we struggled in our duo cash cup. And if I'm being completely honest, yes, we did, but it was a very complex struggle. We had trials and triumphs and many lessons to be learned. Complex, like the man himself, Mr. Bonaparte, no way. But I will say we learned a lot from this tournament, just like the leader Napoleon in his long, historical, sometimes infamous career. Without further ado, let's get into game one, where this happened. I was extremely confused in the moment, but looking back, I only put one wall and a cone instead of two walls and a cone. This meant the opponent was able to knock me back still, and is the reason I died. I will not be making this mistake again, and that was our game one. Game two was almost a struggle, starting with this beginning fight. Yeah, it's safe to say I was struggling a little bit in the beginning of this cash cup. I lost. The next fight was a little cleaner. Despite the momentum, me and Preacher made a big mistake after this. We W-keyed the W-key team. For future tourneys, we will be positioning not to fight this team, and you'll see why here. Yeah. Anyways, don't forget Preacher is a goat at clutching. He's done it many times before in previous duo cash cups. Question was, could he do it here? I'm gonna need to see W Preacher in the comments after that, because that was a good clutch. For how scuffed those two games were, I'll take 72 points any day. And in game 3, Preacher gets picked off as a solo and dies. Take a wild guess as to how I die here. You thought I was going to cut to something positive, but nope. In game 4, the antics continued. Since we were in a low elo game, me and Preacher ended up getting W-keyed by a good fighting team. And following a failed fighting peak, we both went down. What was going on? Is this why Napoleon always seems so gloomy? Luckily, in game 5, we rebounded a bit. Whew. Shout out this guy for rocket ramming onto us for whatever reason. I still don't know why. Pushing through the pain is sometimes worth it, baby. Let's freaking go. Though it looked like we were struggling in this box fight, we were beginning to pick up, trust me. I'm not gonna lie, I thought we were winning that. Like, we were set up perfectly, and our cash spawned next to us since we were fighting that team. Then Preacher gets animated. I'm gonna be honest, I could have solo clutched this, but completely forgot to reload my shotgun. At this point in the tournament, you likely think it was a tragedy. I think we were going out bad, like Napoleon in the Battle of Waterloo, but trust me, it did not get better in Game 6. I completely forgot to warn Preacher about the enemy from above, and he ended up taking him out. And on top of that, I was unable to solo clutch. Was there genuinely nothing we could do? Time skip to game 9 because, I'm not gonna lie, you don't need to see our other games. I had the opportunity to solo clutch. It was finally time for a change, maybe. The question was, could I do it? Let's get into game 10. Oh wait, Percept didn't lose there? It's probably what you're thinking, and yes, a glimpse of hope was restored for us. In order to place well, I'm not gonna lie, we needed to pop off this game. Now, it was just a matter of execution. Could we do it? Just to add to the embarrassment of this team getting 1v2'd, the other dude's IGN was Go Jover. He's probably a Sakuna fan, and guess what? Sakuna can suck on D's. My fault. I guess I'm finally feeling the excitement of getting some results. We positioned around edge to find kids that were isolated, and it worked to say the least. Now, in your fairy tale FNCS storyline, you'd think we won the game with 20 eliminations, broke our point record, yada yada yada, right? But like life, there are ups and downs. Now, I felt like I had sold the bread. I felt like it was all over, but do not forget the pure animosity. of my duo, Preacher F&M. I wouldn't count us out of this story quite yet, to say the least. Unfortunately, as a down teammate, I made the terrible tactical flaw of not warning Preacher that almost everybody was a solo. We finished on 280 points, and like Napoleon said, it really felt like on mobile, there was nothing we could do. Hold on a second, did he even say that? Has anybody even confirmed that? It's important to remember two actual quotes that Napoleon said that are confirmed, and they are these. Firstly, he stated, "Impossible is a word to be found only in the dictionary of fools." Who's here to say the limits of mobile? Who here defines what we can do? Sure, it's important not to be naive to this situation. There are clear device limitations. But why not give it our all? If we shoot for the moon every single week, hey, maybe we'll hit a star. Secondly, Napoleon also stated, "You become strong by defying defeat and by turning loss into gain and failure into success." Rather than see the mistakes, the severe amount of mistakes we made as a setback, we will learn from them and hope to come better next week. Yes, I did indeed become a soggy for this cash cup, at least in terms of spatial awareness. My positioning was off the walls for this tournament, and I honestly think I could have got 100 points if something super unfortunate didn't happen in one of my last games. So, rather than just make this a story type video, I want to give y'all some educational insight. My positioning in this tourney was superb, hence the spatial awareness. So, along with the story, I wanted to drop some tips I did to help me qualify for this tournament so easily. Without further ado, this was my game 1. First thing I want to point out that I did is rotating early. Note there are still 2 minutes and 20 seconds before the first zone starts pulling. Despite that, I'm already out of my drop with decent mats. This allows me a chance to get easy positioning for future zones and get ahead of everybody and not get fought as they are still looting. So if you want to make an easy rotate for placement without getting fought, get out of your drop early. Nothing happened in mid game, so I'm gonna skip straight to 6th zone. This is where half of the zone is covered in storm and the other half isn't. Always rotate to the half that is covered in zone. This guarantees you a pretty much free dead side rotate for the next zone and just makes life easier. As you can see here, it made my 7th zone rotate easy. There is nobody around me, and I'm doing the same thing. Do the same thing for the 6th and 7th zone, and you will be chilling in the cash cup. Enough of all that educational stuff. Let's get to the eyes glowing part. Let's get serious. This is how my first endgame went. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If I had more mats, I could have easily won that game, but I will take a second place. Game 2, I wanted to ensure I got points, so I sat in a bush for most of the time. I intentionally did this in the jungle terrain so I could rotate to future zones faster and have solid protection. Next zone pulled, and let's just say I had a free rotate. As you can see, people all are around me, but I'm able to use cover like trees and below mountains to get to zone easy. When I rotate to the next bush in the jungle terrain, I put a wood stair over it. Yes, you could say this is to check the bush, but it is also to provide me with protection. If there is a wood stair over a bush, other players are going to think that bush has been checked already and therefore there is nobody in it. So if you want to ensure yourself easy placement, just place a wood stair over a bush. I repeat this strategy once again with a bush on elevation, putting a stair through it so nobody checks it. And to no one's shock, it works again. Habits don't change, and they definitely didn't for this victory cup. For 6th zone, once again, I rotated to the part of circle covered in storm in order to give me free dead side. I'm gonna fast forward a bit and note that nobody is on this part of dead side. When you do this rotate, you are usually the only person in the lobby doing it. Well, there's this guy, but I mean, that's 2 players out of 22 players in the lobby. What is the risk? I'm not gonna lie, with this dead side rotate, on a side note, I got extremely lucky. Someone pulled right onto my catch, so I was going into endgame with slurps. I had to do at least somewhat decent. Now, it was time for the endgame. Could I prevail, or would I flop and get 15th place? Let's see. Yikes. On top of not getting the refresh from the guy I got low, I lose a 50-50 that should have been so freaking easy. This should have been a 60-point game, but I guess I'll take that. In game 3, I died instantly, so let's get into game 4. Like I said earlier, habits don't change. I'm once again using the jungle terrain to get easy rotates. And on top of that, this is the same area I went to earlier. Having a set rotation game plan is something that will benefit you greatly in any game mode, and honestly something I should look into. So if you can, rotate to specific spots on certain zone pools, like say, if zone pulls jungle, I go here all the time. If it pulls down, I go somewhere. Just have set guaranteed rotates for your 1st to 4th zone, and you'll be fine. Does this bush look familiar? I wonder why. No way, maybe it is. Watch me do the wood stair thing again, and I'm pretty much chilling once again for endgame. 3rd time, and I am still rotating to the part of circle in zone. If you need to during this time, it is okay to tank some storm. This is to make your rotate easier and make sure people don't look at you. Skipping ahead, I want to give a note to y'all. Don't force the rotate if you don't need to. Here I get beamed and I'm okay with settling here. This is where I stop. If I'm to rotate further, I could risk losing more HP, so if you get beamed on the dead side rotate, it's fine to sit back. It's fine to sit back a little bit in zone, don't worry about it. 7th zone, I rotated to dead side, but this was actually kind of a mistake. Dead side was on the low ground of zone, as everybody else was on that mountain terrain you see to the left. And I was pretty much the only person low ground. The risk here is if I rotate up, I'm at a great chance of getting held by the players above me, as I'm the only one on low ground, which somewhat happens here. Yes, I could have blocked my head, but I also could have been in a better position just in case zone pulled up. With that being said, this was the 3rd endgame I made it to, and it was time to see if I could capitalize. Yeah, in retrospect, I have no idea how I made it that far, but just like that, we were pretty much qualified in 3 games. Like I said, my positioning was crazy this Cash Cup. Now, remember at the beginning of the video how I said I should have got at least 100 points? This was why I didn't. Remind me to never use soaring sprints again. Yeah, since nothing happened in finals, here's a quick bonus clip of a pretty cool elim I got off spawn. Pretty much the only thing interesting about my game 6. If nobody got me, business turret does. And that is all I got for this video. The way this tournament was going, you would think it was over. Until it wasn't. We are back, baby. Me and Preacher, the mobile duo, competing in the Duo Cash Cup. Our goal for this tournament is simple. Try to beat the 280 points we got in the Duo Cash Cup last week. I confidently thought before the tournament we could do this, but I'd be lying if I said there weren't a lot of trials. But with trials come triumphs. There were so many points in this tournament, I thought it was all over. We weren't beating last week. Just wait until the end. Things got crazy. I might have solo clutched. It was our first game, and like a lot of comp players, me and Preacher wanted to hit the W key. Of course, that means to get eliminations. We wanted to fight and get into it. Fortunately, I lost track of where I was and Preacher got doubled. We ended up going down. If anything, this is a positive though. If first lobbies stay like this, me and Preacher might just be able to drop a 20 bomb. I'ma keep it real. Game 2, we pretty much played dead side, so not much happened until endgame. The endgame itself wasn't that stacked either, but we were still able to pull some solid points from this, I'd say at least. Fortunately, me and Preacher failed to realize that zone pulled up elevation or up in a mountain, and that cost us. That was still a solid game though, we were able to clutch out a second place, I can't complain. And that's when one of the first hectic moments happened. Me and Preacher picked a fight we thought was perfect. Clear dead side, no third parties in sight. That same duo ended up eliminating me and him. Needless to say, we got 0 points in game 3, and that game was a flop. Game 4, we played a little more safely and had a bit of success later in fighting, but issues on both of our parts messed us up here. Because Blood No G2 doesn't have a Fortnite team anymore. Anyways, my mistake here was running away. I don't know why I ran away from a team me and Preacher could have so easily taken out. Lessons will be learned and implemented. It's time for game 5. Being honest, this was a complete fail on awareness on my part. We should have easily beat G Take My L2, and if I stayed alive here, we would have took them down quick. Preacher was able to take the Madman out, but not his duo, and that was our game 5. In game 6, we found the perfect dead side fight, no third parties in sight. There's no reason not to fight this, but if I'm being honest, things got interesting. Preacher became the fragger. Remember how in game 1, I started selling? Well, here's another clip by the merchant. You see, Preacher wanted us to go top left of this circle. Let's just say for some reason I went bottom right. What was I doing? Let's just say chaos is not stronger than order, and that was not my brightest play. I was able to get some elims from it though. We're gonna end it there. I didn't do much after that. Top 4, 7 elims. I guess you could somehow say that's a solid game. Sometimes with pleasure comes pain. That was our game 7. Things seemed to be alright. Here, I got an elimination, got knocked, but Preacher was able to res me. As you likely can tell, we thought we were flawless. We thought this was the perfect move and we were going to win this game. But we forgot to account for one thing. This was low elo. In these said lobbies, games are dead. Because games are dead, people do some of the most confusing, bizarre, and odd plays you'll ever see. Just like this team that eliminated me. It's not the fact they eliminated me, it's the fact they held Preacher, sacrificing positioning and all for 2 points? Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing. That was our game 7. It was game 8. We needed 77 points to beat 280 from last week. And though I had been selling up to this moment, not playing my best, maybe 2 sales make a solo clutch. After winning that off spawn, you as a viewer would think we were good. And that's where I remind you the suppressed sniper is in the game. Preacher's untimely cause of death meant it was time for me to solo clutch. What could the mobile player cook? Being completely honest, I should have went up and rocket rammed, but third place, baby. Solo clutch mode. I'm gonna be honest, game 9, we just wanted free points. Despite surviving for 11 minutes and sitting edge, we pretty much only got 10 points, meaning it was all up to this last game. Just like past Duo Cash Cup weeks for me and Preacher, the climax was here. Could we finish the job in game 10 and beat our record? Or were the lights brighter than we expected? Our mid-game went safe, though this endgame was intimidating. I mean, look at that player count. 40 players alive, 6 zone. Crap was about to get crazy. Now, let me make your spine tingle, nerves raise a little bit. Preacher got knocked right before the endgame started. Though we had already beat last week at 300 points, it was now up to me to clutch a possible personal best. But 20 other players stood in my way, maybe thinking our Duo Cash Cup ended right here. 300 points isn't bad, and I had a pretty solid solo clutch in game 8. But let me leave you with this. Who said it had to be a solo clutch and not solo clutches? Fortunately, I'm only able to get 4th, but hey, as a solo, I'd say that's pretty solid. This also helped us break our PR. We got 328 points this Cash Cup, placing us 1,138th. The triple digit placement is coming soon.